you move me and tell me what to do. That's what you're good at.
Okay, now talk.
What do you want me to talk about?
Just kidding. So we just watched season 2, episode 1, tryouts. Our new season.
Yeah.
Just came out of a Nationals win. We're with a whole new team.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the episode first off?
Episode's amazing. Like, I'm so excited. I want the girls to see it. So hopefully they get motivated too. But yeah, just like a really different feel this year. Yeah. It's like, here are the veterans. They're winners. Are you going to be leaders or are you going to get comfortable? And I think the episode displays so much of that. You see some veterans that are standing in the background, not really being engaged with the rookies. And then you see some of the veterans encouraging, holding people's hands along the way. It'll be a good mix this year.
Yeah. What was I always ask people this, what was your favorite part? Because for my brother last season, he watched the whole season and he said his favorite episode was the camp one because he felt like the intro, with the camp one with the gimbal, how it was like slow-mo walking backwards. Yeah. He said he liked that a lot. It looked really cool.
It did look cool.
And so that's why I kind of like, you see how I kind of incorporated that again into this one. And then from the final episode, I had this like widescreen. Do you remember me telling you about that? I got it inspired by Love is Blind because like they do like montages where the widescreen comes in. And so I put that in.
It looks so good.
During the montage too.
I love that you geek out about this stuff because I'm over here like, yeah, it all looks really good. And you're like, no, but this one part.
Yeah. So I just keep trying to. And so I always ask, what was your guys' favorite part? Because you could ask people about criticism. Everyone has a different style. Yeah. But favorite parts, I feel like if you can keep hitting those like favorites and understand what people love and just keep working it into your work, it gets better. So what was your favorite part?
Oh, there's so many. All of it.
What stood out to you?
I think what I love is when we showcase personality in those really like short snips that you do. Like Sienna made a funny face, boom, there it is. Alizé rolled her eyes, boom, there it is. And it's just like a really quick, fast shot where it's like you're going through a different scene and it like stops on the person for a second and it keeps going. So it's like, wow, Sienna's kind of a dork. And it's like you don't get that, right? You meet Sienna in a professional environment and she's like young and put together and very coachy. And then in the docuseries, you get to see pieces of her personality in those short little clips and moments. So I really like those moments.
Yeah, Sienna is totally a dork.
She is. She's on vacation and I'm watching her house right now. And I'm like, why do your cats act like you? It's weird. It's weird.
What are they doing?
They're just like, this is going to sound so bad. They just like pester you.
What?
Like, I'm like, I'm just here to feed you and clean your litter. And they just like follow you everywhere.
Oh my god.
And I could just like picture like Sienna in cat form, like, hey Ray, what about this? What about this? And I'm like, oh my God, they're her.
Yeah, you guys are totally sisters. So
we are.
Very strong relationship with you too.
That's
for sure.
Awesome. She's great.
Yeah, she is great. And I think one thing like that you were saying that you like the moments where it feels like you get to see them. One thing about this one, I mean, I put a lot more. There's interview snips that are like from quality sound bites, that move the story. But there's a lot more snips of like that aren't like, part of the interview. It's just like you like Sienna coughing in the background and you're like,
I'm like, shut up. It's my time to talk, Sienna. Yeah.
You're like, oh, sorry. It's like those little snips, I feel like they reveal you. Like when I said, the Alizé and Fatima Quarrel, what's up with that? And you're like, you take like a deep gulp and then you're like bust out laughing.
Yeah,
you can just tell.
Ridiculous.
That says so much, like more than the words. Just seeing how you're acting, seeing how you have to like take a moment and look around and laugh about it. Tell so much of the story just like that.
And I think what I'm most excited about this season is the fact that you've done a whole season with us. So one, you know what Cheer is because Cheer is kind of a weird, unique world that unless you're in it, you don't know what you're looking for. And I feel like you know us really well too now, right? Like to find those moments because last year it was like, tryouts are fun. What is going on here? Oh, yeah. And it was like good quality work, right? But it's hard to tell a story when you don't know what the story is yet. And I think we were both in that same boat last year.
And also just the comfort. I mean, it was our first time doing it. And so it was also, I just felt this weird unease. I remember the first tryouts when I showed up and you're like, and this is Jason.
Yeah.
I was like, I felt like I had something to prove. Like, guys, like, let me show you that I belong here. Like, I can make this good.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I was just thinking as we were like panning through the interviews and whatnot, the veterans, Like they just don't even care. Like they're like, Jason's family now. Here's a camera in my face. But like you watch the interviews with the rookies and they're doing like the, you know, like
all
the
nervous.
excessive blinking
Yeah.
and they're like, why is this camera in my face? So
Yeah.
it's funny to see both now.
I love it. Yeah, it's so funny. The veterans are so comfortable on camera now. It's like it's not even there.
Yeah.
It's like we're goofing around now and having fun,
Right.
because that's a big thing I feel like with documentary is getting that like comfort. Like you're trying to go into someone's circle.
Right.
And
Right.
capture what's going on. And there's just one thing, like those snippets, like you're saying with like, you know, Sienna lifting the thing, doing her little goofing around and stuff.
Dork.
Those little snips where they're just comfortable and goofing around in front of you on the camera.
Yeah.
It takes like, I feel like there's like groundwork you have to lay first before you can really start getting into the more intimate stuff.
Yeah.
And even for last year's documentary stuff, I felt like the final one, the one at when we went to California,
Right.
that was like where I got to like capture a lot more people being themselves, because I got to spend a lot of time.
I was like,
with
you
them.
were with us 24/7. I don't know how you did that. I don't know how I did that, if we're being honest. That's a long trip.
It's so fun. Those are like the peaks, because for me, it's like most of my time is editing or on my computer, editing, networking, things like that. And then the times I'm out shooting, like it takes so many more hours. So like every hour I say of like footage you get, I'm gonna guess like 5 hours of editing time, maybe more. Like the way when you boil it down, just because it's like the way you gotta be creative about it and all this stuff.
It's crazy.
But for me, you know, it's like almost office jobby. But I love getting to that creative zone when I'm editing and thinking, how do I tell a story and following the flows and just making something. But when I'm out there with you guys and I'm, you know what I mean? It's like that's like the social like refuel.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like so
yeah.
fun to be out there with people who are just like, and I get to be around that energy, especially. Oh my gosh, being at a cheer competition like that, never. It's like that. It's pumping.
Okay.
It is so motivating.
It's just like inspiration everywhere. I do want to know. Okay, so the first time you walked into the competition area with us, we did the little check-in thing. That was kind of like boring, right? Like, here's your coach's wristband.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so when we took stunt group in for their first practice, you walk into the arena, the high school division's going on, and we're walking back to the practice area. What were you thinking? Because for me, like, I've been in that arena since I was 5 years old. Like, that's just home. It's second nature. But like, as an outsider, like, what was your first thoughts walking in there?
It's intense. It feels intense. It's more intense. Like, I mean, I went to wrestling state and stuff like this. So, and that was like, I mean, you have the nerves inside. It's intense personally, because you're like, I'm about to go grapple a dude in front of all these people. Yeah. But the aura of the area is not as intense as it is in cheer. Because in cheer, everyone's like, it's like you're like going into the Roman Coliseum. There's people like screaming, cheering, doing chants everywhere. And then like you got dancers over there doing crazy spins. You got other people doing stunts over there. You got a whole like loud ass groups just screaming together in unison. It's just like this aura around. You're like, dang, this is intense. Yeah. It's loud.
It's so loud.
It's awesome.
And I'm glad that we went in that night, because we could prepare everyone for the next day, right? Like, stunt group, let's just be honest, I had a really shitty practice that night. It was so bad that even staff came over and was like, is she okay? And I'm like, I don't really know right now, if we're being honest. And so to have them be able to set the precedent and the mood for everyone else, I think was one of the reasons we were successful. They could come back to their team and say, the arena's loud as shit. It's hot. Everyone's doing everything. It's so easy to get distracted. We had a bad practice because of it. So yeah, arenas are loud and energetic. And I'm glad that you felt pumped, because I walked in and was like, can they just turn the music down? So
getting tired of the noise.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to push back on you. We'll push back.
Okay.
I just want to ask you some coaching questions.
Oh gosh.
Because I remember when they were getting that bad practice with the stunt.
I hate bad practices.
I was there recording. And I just remember there was this thought. I thought Alizé, I think it was Alizé looking tired. Everyone started to look kind of like fatigued. Yeah. And then, but you were still having the fire on. And you're like, come on, you're going to hit this. And your competitors are watching. Like, hit this. And then they just started kind of crumbling. I was thinking, how do you find that balance where you push them, but don't push them if they're fatigued, where maybe they're doing too much? How do you find that balance?
That's a good question, because it depends on the person, right? Like Sienna and Alizé, I can push all day long and they're going to thrive off of that. They're going to say, she's giving me an opportunity to be mentally stronger and prove to myself that I can do this. I'm going to get back up. I'm going to find oxygen from somewhere in this room and get it done. As a coach, you do have to walk that line carefully, right? Because you don't want them to get injured the night before nationals. So I do a lot of refocusing, and I tell people cheerleading is 80% mental, like 20% is skill, but you can't do that skill if you're not mentally strong enough to do it. And to do it repeatedly in that arena like we did, as a coach, I take responsibility. Like my vibe, for lack of better words, is going to completely change how they're feeling. And I too, like, just because I've been doing this since I was 5 years old doesn't mean I don't walk into that arena and get distracted and look for our competition. You know, we're in a practice room with 7 full floors of cheer mats. And my focus and priority is getting that stunt group ready for tomorrow. But I'm also thinking about the next day too, right? When my whole team's out there, okay, where are people in our division? Where's College of Sequoia's in the warm-up mat? And it's easy to get distracted. And I think that they felt that for a second. And that gave them permission to also be distracted. So getting them back on track usually starts with me. Like, all right, Reylene, I didn't walk in here to be distracted. I walked in here with one goal and one purpose. Am I alluding to things that I'm not even aware of, right? Because I'm kind of a hard ass. Like, I knew I wanted to go in there and do what we needed to do. Yeah. But then I realized, ooh, like subconsciously, I'm looking around too. Like, I'm trying to find our competitors. I'm trying to do the research. I need to refocus, and they need to see me make that switch. So after they had fallen for like the 13th time, I like did some like really, and you have to do it quickly as a coach. You self-evaluate. What are you giving off? I recognized I probably seemed distracted and frustrated. And so we had that conversation, like, your bodies are tired. I need you to dig deep, find it in your mind, find it in your soul. And I just need you guys to hit this 2 times to show us that we can do it. And when you have that moment of refocus on yourself as a coach, it portrays to them well. And usually if you have a good group of athletes that want to be there and win, they're going to take your lead and they're going to refocus. And I want to say, I don't know, 3 tries later, they hit that whole routine like they had done so many times before. So a lot of it is just walking that line of, are they tired? Are they hurting? Are they picking up some weird vibes from me? Are they distracted? What does the environment look like? And just doing like a quick analysis of all of those things will usually tell you as a coach where you need to go. Coach gut is a thing, and it's really strong, and I live by it all the time. There are times where stunts are perfect, and we'll plan to do them at like a timeout of a basketball game, and I'll just get this weird feeling in my gut that's like, don't let that stunt go out there. And then I have to like fight myself sitting there like, Reylene, this just hit 4 times in warm up. There's no reason this stunt's not ready to go out there. And every time I've trusted my coach gut, it's been right. Sometimes I'll battle it and I'll be like, no, it's fine. Go ahead and go out there. And then something falls or someone sprains an ankle. And I'm like, I should have trusted my coach gut.
What do you attribute that to? That sounds like some intuition, a little bit of psychicness going on there.
It's like some sixth sense, like mama tuition. I don't know. You know, I think though, when you've lived your whole life in cheerleading, you pick up on that atmosphere. Physically, I know these kids are capable. Fatima's one that I like fill out a lot of times. Honestly, I sense when she's nervous. So physically, I know she can throw a skill, and I know I've taught her how to throw the skill, and I know she can do it. But if it's like a packed gym and I can feel that she is uncertain of her confidence and her skill, I'll pull the skill because I know she's gonna bail and hurt herself and other people.
It's weird. At Basketball Bash video, she goes, don't overthink.
I know.
Coming from the overthinker.
She's such an I'm like, you're so talented. Shut up and just trust yourself. So yeah. It's
so funny how much just that her like character has evolved in my mind, because I can still remember when we first met at Second South. And Fatima like came in with her group of friends.
Oh yeah.
And so I met her, and just thinking about that, reflecting on that, such a change of like, she's I have a fully formed person in my mind of who she is now.
Oh, it's crazy.
And back then it was just such a vague, it's so fun. That's such a fun part of my job.
Yeah.
Is being able to like develop these friendships and meet such interesting people,
Yeah, and they're all really interesting.
Yeah, especially you. So,
oh gosh.
yeah, I feel like one thing that you are definitely a hard ass.
Yeah.
She's big David Goggins fan over here. Who's going to carry the boats?
Yeah.
You're hardcore. I mean,
I am.
overcome a lot of obstacles in your life.
For sure.
And I feel like one thing though that I was telling you about the movie Whiplash, the drummer and how the guy is like, that's not my
I still
tempo,
haven't watched that.
not
I need
my
to.
tempo.
Yeah.
Hard ass music instructor, but he's trying to pull out the best.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you're gonna quit, then you weren't destined to be the best.
No.
That's like his mindset.
Yeah.
Very Marine Corps mindset.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna quit, you don't need to be you're not supposed to be a Marine.
Absolutely.
A Marine wouldn't quit.
Yeah.
And there's a
logical.
little tinge of that in your spirit of how you coach, I feel like. But one thing you're very good at is your communication. I feel like you are so good at keeping a dialogue and communicating with your team.
Try.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't want to.
Yeah. I mean, last year. So how far did the team drop to last year? We started with 29 and we technically competed. It's hard. It's hard to pull those numbers because we competed all girls show with 12. But of course we had Danny. So he competed in game day. So technically on roster, we had 13, but we also included 4 dancers in our game day routines too. Oh yeah.
So you could probably say we went from 29 to 13.
Yeah, or I mean, if you include the dancers, how many is
17?
17. So we could technically say 17.
Yeah. Because
they were on the roster, right? So do they not?
Well,
or they just kind of jump in.
They're technically on the dance roster, but we did put them on the nationals roster.
For the competition.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird how that works. Yeah.
But we ended up at 12. The one thing I want to say about the stunt, so the stunt group, they had their trouble, but they got second place in like a division that doesn't separate out junior colleges, which I have problems with, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, they beat the University of Arizona for third place, right? Like they walked away 2 points under California Baptist University. CBU, a powerhouse in cheerleading. Like everyone knows who they are. So I can believe they did it, but it was still just such a crazy feeling. And I sometimes feel bad because I think that's overshadowed by the actual win in show. But gosh, what they did was insane. Yeah. I mean, we put that together in 2 practices. You mean, I remember you guys in the hotel being like, doing your class and be like, actually, let's change that to like a half a beat.
We changed their entire music the night before nationals.
And you guys are figuring it out, like sitting down a lot. Like you guys like counted out. That was really cool because they'd be like 1, 2, 3. And they're like 2, 5. They're just sitting there in the air. They're all not even just sitting on their own, just thinking about it. It's so crazy. It's like, oh wait, on the half beat, then do it. Oh, it's like all these minute things. It's just so cool.
It's crazy how tedious cheer is like that.
Yeah, it's just such a perfection thing. It's like you got to execute this as perfect as possible.
It's weird to me that like a smile or a wink or an extra clean in a routine will be the difference between like first and third place. It's weird. Cheerleading's just so particular.
Yeah.
But it's so subjective too, right?
It's such a performing art.
Yeah.
Though,
Yeah, it's a lot.
So the stunt team, Alize, Andrea, Kenzie, and the flyer Sienna, stud.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Man, that was so cool. That was such a hype, especially for the final film that I made. You know, was like that stunt, like coming out and doing so well. It was such a great change in pace. You know what I mean? Because we just had that dip. I really exaggerated that dip a bit because, I mean, it did hurt Fatima. Like that's obviously footage of her being hurt afterwards because she dropped the game day sign.
Well, and I think what people didn't see, and if you go back through the video of the routine, sure, she dropped the sign. That's not a great start. At some competitions, that's like a 4-point deduction. It was more than that. And I think people missed it.
Oh,
thankfully. She dropped the sign, and in true Fatima fashion, she got in her head a little bit. Her confidence dropped for a second. She almost didn't make it up that pyramid. And then that whole pyramid would have came down. So I don't know what she told herself in that 0.02 seconds that she had, but she fought and she got that pyramid up. But if you watch the video, she missed her base's shoulder and she like almost sat on her and she had to like climb her way back up to the shoulder stand to be ready for Sienna to pop up on her. So that could have been really, really bad. And so I think that's why I said cheerleading's so weird for people who aren't in it, because they're like, ooh, she dropped a sign. And I'm like, that is the biggest thing in cheerleading. She dropped a sign and then she almost dropped the pyramid.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was a low, and maybe it didn't seem like it was that big, but it really was, right? Like as a coach, I knew they are going to just spiral if we sit in this like bad run of a routine. So I tried really hard to be like, it's over with. We're done. We're moving on. We got 4 routines. That's one. Moving on. I don't want to hear it, because I had wondered if veterans who are like the hard asses like me on the team were going to like eat her alive for it. And I was like, that's not what I want. I need you guys to be united and ready to go. But at the same time, I need Fatima and everybody else to know that it is possible to hit on this stage. And that's really where Stunt Group came in.
Yeah, and in the film, it's almost as if like right after they just went and did the stunt, and it was just like all boiling point onto them.
Yeah,
but there was some time, and I feel like Fatima started getting into better spirits a little sooner, and she was very motivated. You two were sitting there. I mean, she said she got a lot of energy from you. It didn't make the cut, but you were squeezing her hand, and she could just feel the energy from you, and was like, she got more energy, like to be like motivating and help her team.
Oh, I'm glad she felt that way, because I felt really bad for squeezing the hell out of her hand during that routine. I mean,
you go crazy
I know,
on the side.
I know.
You're just like those. We got clips of it in that final episode.
I
just like,
watched some and I'm like, who is that crazy person over there?
You are so hyped though. You are like the perfect cheerleader for cheerleaders.
They deserve it. Yeah. And I think it gives them energy too, right? Like to know that I'm over there, like I'm cheering like crazy. I want them to be successful.
Yeah.
I think people see me and go like, you're a hard ass coach. So you just stand there and you're just like, it still wasn't good. But that's so not true, right? Like they're on the floor. I want them to feel my energy. I want them to feel like how much confidence I have in them. And that's where they get it from. I love, some of them are like, I block you out. I don't even know you're there, which is fine. But some need it. Some are like, I can't tell if we're doing good. And then I look at you and you're going crazy. And I'm like, yeah, we got this. And I'm like, that's why I do it. Poor Danny. I think I hit him like 4 times during that routine. And finally he goes, do you want me to hold your hand? And I said, no, I just want to hit you when good things happen. He was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, poor Danny.
Just pumped up.
Yeah.
Okay, Ray.
Yeah.
I'm overthinking, and I don't know if I can't remember if I turn these cameras on. Oh my gosh,
I can't with
you.
Let
me double check. I think I double checked. This is going to be my triple check.
Triple check.
All right, this one's on.
Okay.
It's because I forgot to flip this screen. Oh, look, I did it.
Ooh, look at you. You did it. Congrats. You're not getting fired.
Nice. I don't have to
from
fire
your
myself.
own podcast.
See, it's because the screen wasn't flipped around, so I could verify. And so I overthink in my head, and I was going to live with that in the back of my mind. I had to take care of that.
You'd make a good cheer coach. You know that, right?
Is that how you feel?
Absolutely. Everything is like triple check, triple thinking through. Yeah.
What do you triple check? Like how, because for me, it's like looking at it, it's a performance. Once that happens, how do you triple check on a performance? What are you doing?
I am ridiculous when it comes to the planning stage of routines. So I research thoroughly. I pay for varsity TV, which is like all the routines of everyone that you can possibly see. And I will spend hours upon hours watching everyone else's routines, seeing what the division above us is doing. Because when you make a routine, you really want to plan to compete in a division above you. So people are really impressed when you're in the division you're at. So I do that, and then I make choreography. Last year, our routine, before I even taught it to them, had 7 versions of it. Like I had 7 versions of what I wanted them to do, how I felt like the judges were going to react, and then just double checking the like rules and logistics of it is crazy. Like that is where I triple, quadruple check. This year, I was so fortunate to have Troy. He is the head spirit program director at Ole Miss University. And he so graciously looked at our pyramids to make sure that they were all legal. And even then I'm like, okay, this is someone who's been doing this so long. Troy is very knowledgeable. He coaches one of the best Division I teams in the nation. Why do I still feel like this isn't right? And so it's little things like that where you don't want to be the reason your team doesn't win.
From a disc wall?
Yeah. Like my first year, I feel so bad. I don't feel completely bad, but bad enough that we went to UCA Nationals in Florida. There were 11 of us on the floor, brand new little CSI team. Nobody knew who we were. We were making history just going there.
Mm-hmm.
And the routine went okay. Skill-wise, I knew that we were not up to par with others. We just were not there as a program yet. And you have to build. And I always feel bad for people that get stuck as part of the building year because you're like, I appreciate all your hard work. I know that you've done everything you can. And because of you, more people now want to come and we can keep building. And then to watch like the first years, like Whitney, Michaela, Phoebe, Ethan, to put in all that work and then watch the team next year take nationals and win, that's gotta hurt and that's gotta feel weird. But I always tell them wins don't happen without the people who endure the building year. So we endured the building year. We checked our routines. I even sent in videos to people that were like certified judges that could tell me if everything was legal and good to go. Stunting is so hard because something can be legal, but if you slip or your hand moves even a little bit and comes around a different edge of the foot, or you grab a different part of the body than you intended, now it's illegal. And that's 2, 4, 6 points in deductions. And our pyramid got checked in warm up that first year. And they had come up and said, hey, this dismount, it's illegal. So I changed it. And all it needed was an extra person to catch, to just lay hands on a flyer. Super easy fix.
Very specific rules.
Yeah. I'm happy to make that fix in warm up. We go out there, we get off. I get the email. You've got 4 points in deductions from that pyramid. And I'm standing there like, what the hell? You just watched it. You gave us that correction. You said if I did this, it would be legal. And then that's it. So with or without the deduction, we would not have made finals. So that makes me feel a little better. But like as a coach, you never want to be the reason your team doesn't advance to finals. So just triple checking, quadruple checking, bringing in other experts.
Dang.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's the pressure. It's the pressure that I
so
felt with my
much.
camera right there.
Yeah.
Like, oh crap, is it right?
See? It's a lot.
I better make sure before we talk forever. And then I go, oh,
just kidding. Come back another day.
Record it all. So
yeah.
No, but you were talking about the past, the 2021?
21 would have been
21 to 22
yeah.
team.
Yeah.
I remember one of them, Whitney.
Whitney.
She was at the tryouts.
Yeah.
She was like leading a lot.
Such a good little leader.
Yeah, and just the feeling. It's so funny now. We saw, Iridia and Maddie doing. They're like being the new ones, the new vets that are hanging out.
Weird.
Yeah, it's so funny. But yeah, I mean, that's like the story of humanity. There, you can't be upset that you like help be a bridge to the next level because it's just like it's how. I mean, even like all sports, the further back you go, the smaller the records.
Yeah.
The records keep getting broken, getting broken, and even in technology, just like you can't just wake up and then make an iPhone, like from caveman style. It's like you have to building upon the people before you who
flip phones.
Yeah,
first,
they lay down a little bit of information. You grow on that, and then they grow on that, and let's see. That's what's exciting about the direction that CSI Cheer is taking now.
Seriously, yeah,
because it's just starting to.
It's weird.
I remember you said in the interview last 2 years ago, you had to beg. Like 12, 13 people to come out and do tryouts.
Nobody wanted to cheer at CSI. There was like 2 people that signed up for tryouts. And I came on as a coach like 2 weeks before tryouts. So recruitment, not a thing. Didn't have time. We got to put this team together. And I feel for Julie. I love and respect the hell out of Julie. But I also felt bad for her in that situation. She had her cheer coach leave and the program was on the table for being done at CSI. They were like, well, if we can't keep cheer coaches or this is an expense maybe we don't need anymore. Salt Lake had just done away with their cheer program. Maybe we don't need cheer. And Julie said, no, I want to keep cheer alive. I will coach both cheer and dance, be the program director. And Julie is a teacher at the college and she teaches wellness and stress management classes as well.
Well, then she's the perfect for that double job.
I need her. There are days where I'm like, help.
You're gonna need to know how to.
Yeah, but you know how hard it is to coach one team, let alone 2, and then build and build and build on that. And for 2 years, I think she had a really hard time balancing both because one team would feel like you're spending too much time with the other one and vice versa. And unfortunately, that led to the program not progressing in stunts. And Julie will be the first one to tell you, like, I don't know how to create pyramids and stunts.
Dude,
And
props to her for even just being, being the savior.
Yes.
Like she stopped that from just going to get kinked. Huh?
Yeah. So she pulled me in, and we had just randomly kind of met, honestly. And she was like, do you want the job? And I'm like, what job? She's like, I need a cheer coach. I can't do both anymore. It's not fair. And I was like, let me think about it. And I was like, do you want me to like officially apply? Do you want a resume? She's like, no, well, maybe send me a resume, I guess. So it was like a really natural, like, please come take this program. But at that point, you had veterans from the 2 years that Julie were there that were like, don't do it. Don't do it. And they were just kind of mean and nasty, like stereotypical mean girls. You know, there were lots of times they would try to bully Julie. And it was so sad to watch because Julie's such a good person. Like, she's got such a good heart.
Who was trying to bully?
Her old cheerleaders, like before my time. Yeah.
Who would even take that on? I feel like Julie's a little bit scary, dude. I would not want to see her mad.
Could you imagine? Oh man, no thanks. But it's hard when you've got like 3 or 4 college girls that are like constantly at your throat. So I just think the program fizzled through that. And word got around from some of those mean girls. And of course, they trust their peers more than they're going to trust Julie or me. And I had to beg people. I didn't move Ethan down, but I asked very persuasively, like, hey, bud, I know you've been out of the game for a year or 2. I'm really trying to build this program back up. I need at least one cheerleader that I know and that I know I can count on. So I need you to come. And he moved back from Boise and joined the team. And from that, we got a few more people. And then crazy circumstances led us to getting Sienna like 2 weeks before we left for summer camp. And it was crazy. It was crazy how the pieces.
This is 21 to 22.
Yeah, it was crazy how the pieces were falling together. But every day was a challenge. Like trying to let people know this program's really great. I think you're going to love it if you're the right person for it. But even that year, I felt like I couldn't coach like me. Right? Like you don't want to scare. Well, for a while I was like, I don't want to scare people away.
Well, you're like, you have high standards, but in that position, it's like, you're kind of a bit desperate.
I needed people. I needed bodies.
Yeah, this ain't the time to have high standards. You just need people.
So hard. No.
That's so cool.
But what I loved is the right people stayed and the right people worked. And we did what we could. We fundraised almost $60,000 to go to Florida Nationals in like 5 to 6 weeks.
Whoa.
Because they cared and they wanted to go and they wanted to do the things. And it was good, but it's hard. It's hard to look back on that year and think, wow. But then also, it was 2 seasons ago. How crazy is that?
2 seasons ago. So you had those 13 people you had to wrangle.
Yeah.
This season, how many people applied to be a CSI cheerleader?
120. Like we're just a small facility for one. Like we could not do live tryouts for all 120. So then I narrowed it down to 80. Some kids will start counting themselves out as their grade reports aren't coming through very well, or they're seeking other opportunities. I know as a junior college, sometimes you're not people's first choice. If you can go Division I, you're going to go Division I out of high school, and that's fine.
But CSI is awesome.
CSI is great.
Like, I mean, it's a junior college, but the competitive level at this college is crazy. It's like for this size, and also it's just like, come on, this is like, you got to get an education. Not everybody's gonna be able to go pay for university, and it's such a great stepping stone. I mean, I went to CSI. You went to CSI?
I did.
Yeah.
Going to CSI was the only reason I could afford going to Whitworth after. Honestly.
Yeah, I transferred to Portland State after, and I honestly enjoyed my time at CSI.
Me too.
More than I did at the university.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. I'm like, I loved both.
Like,
I had really good experiences. They were different kinds of experiences.
Well, for me, I was in Portland, and Portland is very politically active.
It is.
And, I'm a little farm boy, came from Buell. So,
I get it.
I just got out of the Marine Corps, so I was a little bit of a tough ass, I guess. And a lot of people there
like, who are these people?
Don't like that.
I could imagine that.
It's just it was a hard shift in culture for me. It is. But I realized that whole trip made me realize how much I appreciate home. Like these are my people here.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And I come in here like I feel proud to be like going with you guys at CSI, to the CSI cheer team. We're making history, like, and be able to capture your guys' like first national win ever. Man. It's so crazy.
Like, what are the odds? I just felt all year when we were filming, there were nights where I'd go home and just be like, oh my God, we better win. Or this is going to be like the most awkward ending to a docuseries ever. I mean, and you're really good at storytelling, so there'd be a good story to finish it. But I was like, we need to win, guys. We have to win because this is going to be like the biggest recruitment pusher that I've ever thought of doing. And I think that's why, as a coach, I feel very confident moving forward with the program because we're thinking outside of the box for recruitment. I don't like the stereotypical go to a combine or email me and we'll talk or come sit and take a campus tour. Like, no, I want you to see what it's like.
Yeah.
I want you to understand what my expectations are. You come on a tour and a campus visit and I'm going to sit across from you and be like, hi, how are you? Tell me about yourself. And that's a piece of who I am, right? But you're not going to get the full picture of what nationals prep Coach Ray is, right? I'm not cussing at you.
And you get to see what the experience, the overall experience is going to be. What journey do you want to embark on this journey?
Right.
Like even in the last season, you have we have the pyramid fall at basketball bash, and it's not like we're not just trying to glaze over some commercial that's like, hey, everything here is 100% the best all the time, sunshine and rainbows always. Come join CSI Cheer. It's like, this is the truth. This is the reality you're going to get into. We got to go from tryouts to camp where it was struggle. Like I mean, with Natalie and the bear crawls, that scene, you see people like having a hard, people just,
I know,
like Ashlyn, she was like dying from grass, but
I cannot believe that. I know. I was like, girl, you need to speak up. Like if you're allergic to grass, tell someone. Yeah, I'm all recording. I incorporated it in the edits. It looks, because it's almost a little compilation of everyone suffering at the end of the conditioning. I just watched it the other day.
And she's in there and she's like doing this. It has nothing to do with conditioning. It has everything to do with an allergic reaction. Fighting off
an allergic reaction. I remember like running to the store and getting her like Benadryl and penicillin and sending her down to the trainers for ice. It was bad.
Dude, and then we go to basketball bash. That's the next episode, right? And it goes camp to basketball bash. And she got there.
In a car accident.
Yeah, she got stitches on her head. And she's like, hey, I just got hit by a car. Let's go do this.
Man, Ashlyn is such a good, and I hate that she didn't get to finish the season with us, but she's such a good example of what it means to just like get back up and be resilient. I've never met someone tougher, honestly. And like I said, I hate that she didn't finish the season with us. Because everything about Ashlyn tells me like, you are so worthy of being a national champion. And I hate that you didn't get there, but the things that you prove to me, to yourself, to the world about your journey, like incredible. Like she's got such a good story that I hope one day she feels empowered to share with lots and lots of people, because she can inspire a whole generation, I'm sure. She's great.
Yeah, I don't really know too much about her, but just the times that I was around her, she's great.
There's always something.
Great energy, very fun person, and fun. She is tough as nails.
She's so tough. Okay, so one, she downplayed her car accident like severely to me. She's like, yeah, I don't know. They said I probably didn't need stitches, but I got stitches. I had no idea her accident was, one, that bad. Two, she was probably severely concussed. But she was like, I'm fine. I'm good. And I hate when athletes do that though, right? Like, help me protect you. Be honest. Tell me what the doctor said. Did you even go to a doctor? And I'll never forget Alizé. Alizé, something happened. She hit her head. I can't even remember if it was like cheer related or not. And she was like, I'm going to the doctors. I said, oh, perfect. Great. And then she was like, yeah, I'll clear. I'm good to practice. Well, 2 days after that, we had like Raylene's really pissed off conditioning because nobody was doing their job. And like, that's hell. So halfway through, she hands me a doctor's note that's like, cannot participate for a week. And I'm just like, I didn't know you went to a doctor. What did you go to a doctor for? And I think she thought I was like mad at her for not pushing through. And I just looked at her. I was like, I'm mad at you for not being honest with me. Like, you are severely injured. You need to be sitting your ass up at the mats, not running bleachers right now. She's like, I was going to tough it out, but I think I wanted to pass out. And I'm just like, y'all, take care of your body. Like, you get one body. You got to take care of it.
Well, it's just the difference between being hurt and being injured.
Right.
So then if you're injured, you need to recover.
You had a doctor's note that was timestamped Monday. It was Thursday. And I was like, what are you doing? Yeah.
It's admirable. And where's the line drawn?
Right.
I think, at least for cheer, the line is drawn earlier than normal for pushing past because you have people relying on you.
Yeah.
And you can't be risking yourself because you're risking the whole team.
For sure.
So, I mean, when it comes to like
Yeah.
some David Goggins, you're the only person.
Right.
You're just running.
Yeah,
and if
yeah.
you hurt, no one
Yeah.
else is going to be affected if you end up dropping the race. So,
Yeah. But like if Alizé is concussed and she tries to hold up a pyramid and it's coming down, who is she really going to help in that situation? She's going to hurt herself more. She's
Or
going to
hurt someone
drop
else.
Sienna. Yeah. It was just bad. Cheer's bad like that. I don't know. But I'm not one to talk. I pushed through injuries for years and years. Like I cheered on a torn ACL and 5 tears in my rotator cuff because I didn't want to give up cheering. I was like, nope, I
Okay.
could be on the floor.
I got to ask.
Okay.
Who the hell is your mom?
My mom.
She seems like
crazy.
someone
Crazy.
awesome.
She's awesome. I love my mom. So my mom, Sharon, she never really grew up in cheer, but she really took a liking to it for some reason. And then she made me try out for the all-star cheer team when I was 5 years old, and I didn't want to go. And I remember fighting her the whole way there. And mom is one of those people that like picks up on really crazy things fast, right? Like she could become an expert in anything if you gave her like 2 days in a book. Like she'd figure it out. Like she'd run the world if she could.
Super learner.
Yeah. Like good thing for us that she doesn't want to run the world, but like she could. She's one of those people you meet and you're like, you're just crazy enough to do it. So she's always really, so she coached me a little bit in high school. She didn't get along with the head coach, so that didn't last very long. But she's always been really involved in cheer. She's just been like a really big inspiration in cheer. Like she's always seen me want to quit. And she was just always there to be like, no, like, what are your goals? What do you want? Like, she is that hard ass.
I mean, she got you into it at 5.
Yeah, right. Like, could barely run. And she's like, here's cheer. And it's funny because I remember just being like a little bit of like a chunkier 5-year-old and being like, Mom, no way. And she's like, no, I think you're going to love this. And I fought her for probably like 2 years.
Oh,
but
really?
I cheered and I did it. And I kept doing it. And then I fell in love with it. And
when did the end then? When does that happen? Because at first you didn't love it?
No. Like, honestly, I remember like entire seasons where I was just like, this isn't fun. I freaking hate my life. And now that I look back, I think it's a lot of the people. Cheer culture is really dangerous. And representation matters. And I think that's why I'm such a big advocate for everybody can cheer. It doesn't matter what your body looks like. And it's funny because I look back at those pictures and I'm just like, that's what y'all were like bullying for being chunky. Like, can I be that chunky again?
That's what you were dealing with?
Yeah, like for years. And I never, probably until I was 8, 9 years old, I never saw like a plus size cheerleader. Like they were all skinny and pretty and blonde or like pretty brunette with curls and they all had money, and all-star cheer is expensive. Like you're paying almost like $1,500 every month or two. And I never felt like I really belonged because I didn't look like that. And it's funny because I value girls that look like that on my team. Like they're the ones that are strong. They're like the Alizés, the Tanyas, like the ones that are just strong. And you know, like they're going to hold any stunt up you ask them to hold up.
Because it's like, it's not, you think a cheerleader, I think for the average casual, like like myself, I used to think, you know what I mean? Like there's just a cheerleader. There's you don't realize how many positions, like a football field. Like you know what I mean? You have you got a lineman, but you want him to look like a wide receiver.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's what people like don't recognize, right? So yeah, I never like met another plus size cheerleader. And then I was like 8 or 9. And then this girl joined the team and I was like, oh, you look like me. Like, let's be friends. And then her mom was like, you can't look like that and be a cheerleader. And she struggled like a lot that year. And her mom had like at 9 years old, bought her a personal trainer to lose weight. And she did. And she looked great. Like, this is not to say you can't lose weight and be great. But like at 9 years old, like you have a personal trainer to lose weight.
Can't you just like feed her differently?
Right.
Like if you really want something, it's like personal trainer. Damn.
Yeah, it was intense.
That's a lot.
And then she was like so mean to me the next year. So I just, honestly, I really hated cheerleading probably until I was 18 years old.
What?
Dead ass. I hated.
It's a lot of years of hating.
Yeah. I loved stunting. And I look back and I'm like, God, like my body did some really great things. Like my body won championships. Like my body threw these girls in the air. Like my body was dependable on that floor. And why that wasn't good enough for like my teammates, I'll never know. And I'll never care at this point, honestly. But it was hard, like growing up in such a public sport. I ended up leaving all-star cheerleading as a sophomore, I want to say, in high school, because it was that year that crop tops became legal cheer uniforms. And my teammates were like, we want like the new fancy blinged out crop top uniforms, but we can't have those because of Reylene. Whoa. And I was like, oh, like that's gross. Like I quit, I'm done. You know, and then I had a high school coach that was just awful. Like she was so awful. And she just always made comments like, oh, maybe like if you'd lay off the alcohol, like you'd have a better time fitting in your uniform and whatnot. And like, I'll be honest.
Were you heavy on the alcohol?
I was. Yeah, but yes.
Wait, how old are you?
Hi, I'm Reylene. I was a problem child. To my parents, I'm really sorry.
Oh my God.
No, it's funny. So I'm actually working. I'm writing my first book.
No way.
I am. It's called Self-Love in a Loveless Place.
Really?
Yeah. And it talks about a lot of like cheerleading related instances where I kept trying to like tie my self-worth to like what I look like on the floor, what people are saying about me. And then after recognizing nobody cared, it was like, well, fuck it all. Like I'm done. I'm done trying to fit what you think a cheerleader should be. So I started coaching like right at 18 because I wanted to make a difference. I wanted people to feel loved and accepted. And from the moment I was a coach, like I was a hard ass. I was a hard ass that had a lot to learn about coaching, but I was still like the same person I am now.
You decided to become the change you want to see.
Yeah. And it's been really positive and it's been really good. And then somewhere around my 22, 23, I decided to join a semi-professional cheer team and was like, I know I can still stunt. I know I'm still one of the best stunters in this area, like for all girl stunting anyway. Maybe I'll give it a try. Like I knew the coach and the coach was like, you should come out to tryouts. And I was one of the highest scores of the day. Can't tumble. My body hurts. So I don't do that anymore, but I'll leave that to Sienna. But I can still base really well. And like, shoot, even with CSI, like if your stunt's not working and I bring my tennis shoes and I make it work, you better figure out how I made it work because I'm not putting on a uniform and jumping in for you. So I joined this team and was like, I want to finish my cheer career on like a positive note. I just want to have fun. I want to be with my friends and I just want to stunt. Like, we're all adults. It's an adult team. This should be fine. Like this should be the way my cheer career ends. Oh my gosh, adults are nasty people. Like I have never in like the 18 years that I was an all-star cheerleader was nothing compared to like the hate and like just the straight bullying. Like I'm just going to call it what it was. Like the bullying that I received on that team for being a plus size cheerleader. And it's funny because I look at it and I'm like, my stunt group was the only one hitting collegiate level stunts. Like y'all weren't hitting anything else. You needed me on this team. There was no reason to be like, it's embarrassing that we have a fat cheerleader. And I'm just like, okay. So cheer's crazy.
Yeah.
Cheer is so crazy.
Basing alone, it's not like it's
hard.
Easy. Yeah,
No.
I cheered for a little bit
That's
my
right.
senior year of high school, and I have fear still to this day. But I mean, there's times where you're basketing with someone who's a noob too.
Yeah.
Like my buddy, we were both wrestlers, and we bumped heads, dude, on the catch, and you're just like, oh, what the? You have to like learn how to catch properly, and then
there's so
throw
much
properly, and then also to actually get height. And then I just remember I did this one where you get into the squat, and it's just a, what do you call it? Like a one guy, one girl stunt.
Oh, like a co-ed stunt, a partner stunt. Yeah.
A partner stunt. Yeah. And my friend Fernanda Ortega, do you know her at all? She cheered in my high school anyways. And she came and put her foot in my hand, and I stand up, do the lift and twist so I can catch her foot on this shoulder. Yeah. And she's standing on my shoulders now.
Yeah, you're doing a walk-in.
And we were doing this in her yard because we would go to her house and practice. And we had a video. I wish I could find that damn video. Man. But you're giving me coach anxiety right now. Yeah, it's about to go bad. It's about to go bad.
See, it's that coach gut. I'm like, this doesn't end well.
Yeah. And I remember we struggled with the balance for a second. Yeah. And so I tried to catch it. Because like a broom on your hand, it leans forward. You like move your hand forward to catch it. That's what it was like my mind was. So I leaned forward, but I think she leaned back at the same time.
Yeah, to adjust.
She just went straight back and landed like like reverse scorpion, like not
Yeah.
like on her shoulder, neck, just on her head. And I turned around, I was like, oh my gosh. And I just remember her eyes were bugging out. She was like, and her eyes are just staring forward.
Oh my God.
I'm such an asshole at the time. I was such a stupid little teenager, honestly. But I just went, and when I saw her eyes, dude, I just like busted up laughing.
Oh my gosh.
It was funny because she was okay. I was like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay? She was like,
But you made sure she was fine first.
Then I was just like laughing because her air got knocked out. But then I was too scared. From then I was like, I do not want to do that.
Yeah,
Like,
dropping people's scary.
Yeah, I'm like, what if I hurt you? Like, what if I drop you again and it was worse?
Yeah,
Like,
people get paralyzed. People die. Like this
That's
sport
so
is
scary.
crazy. I mean, imagine like, like Sienna doing that full basket, right? Like, what if the people below her just didn't catch her? Like that would be catastrophic.
Or they catch her wrong.
Yeah.
Case in point, Kyla and her teeth getting smashed in like a week or two before nationals. A week?
It was probably 2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks before nationals, Kyla gets her teeth smashed in.
was
She
so
wasn't
bad.
wearing Shaniqua, I bet.
She was not wearing Shaniqua. You know why she wasn't wearing? Okay, let's talk about that for a second because that whole day just blows my mind. One, Kyla was like, "Can we move practice up because I want to watch the Super Bowl?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine, no biggie." That was my first mistake.
Butterfly effect.
Just bad juju. Yeah, absolutely. So this is a stunt that they've done, like a kick double basket, right? She kicks, she spins twice, they catch her. They were hitting this all day. Like I had no concern. We didn't even bring Shaniqua out because we didn't feel like she needed her face shield. Weird throw, weird timing. Sienna's shoulder comes down, busts her teeth in. And I'm like, it's probably fine. Like, it's no big deal. And then I see blood in her hand. And I'm like, oh shit. So she runs to the garbage can and she's like spitting this blood out. And I'm like, okay. I thought it was her nose because she's broken her nose before. Not on my team, but it's easy to re-break it. So I'm thinking it's that. So I go over and it's her teeth. And I was like, okay, like let's get to the water fountain. Like let's try to like flush some of that out so we can see where it's bleeding from. She's like, my teeth got kicked in. And I'm like, no, like let's just wash it out. And she turns and she looks at me and I just go, yeah, we're going to go to the ER. We can watch the Super Bowl in the waiting room. Let me go get my car. And I just look at Alize and I'm like, clean up the mats. Clean up the mats. I got to go. And she's like, what? And I was like, I have to take her to the ER. Like, I can't not. Yeah.
She's here away from family too. Her family's not here. She's not from Twin.
Yeah, she's not.
And she just gets.
So she hopped in my car and we went to the ER.
Yeah, you got to be like mama for a lot of these girls.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a blessing and a curse, right? It's a blessing because I know it's hard to be away from family, and I had a coach when I was at Whitworth who really took me under his wing, and him and his wife were like, we want to make sure that you have everything you need to be successful while you're away from family. So I had a really good model for that. But it's a curse because your phone goes off at all crazy hours of the night and you feel like you need to be there, and you do, right? Mental health is such an important thing that we pay attention to as coaches. And as a coach, sometimes that means, they have your cell number or they can connect with us on the band app at any hours. And there were multiple times that cheerleaders will wake me up 2 a.m., midnight, whenever, like, hey, I'm feeling really depressed. Can you come? And my first response is, let's evaluate this like a crisis, right? Like I've worked in nonprofits that work with mental health like my entire career. And then you kind of just triage it, right? And you have to be the one to do that as a coach when mom and dad aren't here. And usually that does mean a call to mom and dad, and they usually don't want to do that. Call to medical professionals and local resources, but you are the connector. I always tell them, like, I'm not a counselor. I'm not licensed. I'm not going to sit here and give you advice that I can't give you, but I am going to connect you where you need to go. And sometimes that means like, let's just take a walk on campus real fast in the middle of the day when you're feeling like your anxiety is out of control. So coaching really is like a full-time and a half kind of job.
Yeah.
But it's good. I love it. I love these kids.
How do you draw the line for, don't tell my mom and dad, but they're adults.
Yeah.
Like, especially if they're, they're adults. It's like, okay, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't need
adults use that loosely.
Because a lot of them, from my experience, this feels like, I went to join the Marine Corps straight after high school.
Okay.
And so I was instantly like thrown into like, act like an adult
You're
world.
an adult.
Yeah. You're like, we're not going to treat you like a child anymore.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so sometimes I'll see girls that they still like have a little bit of or like they're like, they have that I'm still in high school vibe.
Yeah.
Like not many responsibilities and I'm still hoping my parents will take care. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
and
know
a
how
lot
to
of
describe it
parents
exactly.
do. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it because I felt it. Like, I lived at home until like my junior year of college because I was like, yay, mom and dad are here. It's usually like a safety evaluation, right? Like, the one thing I want is to build trust with parents. I don't want parents to be like, you knew my kid was suffering and didn't say anything. 9 out of 10 times when I have a conversation with an athlete and I say, I think you need to call mom and dad, they do. And then that solves all of it.
Yeah.
There is the 1 out of 10 time that they're like, my parents can't know I struggle with depression, or they can't know that like financially I'm trying to work and it's not working out. And in those cases, the next person I usually point them to is the CSI Counseling Center. Go work some things out there. If you need some support, you just want some ice cream on campus when you're done with that appointment, like, I'm there. And usually the counselor will give them a new clinical perspective that allows them to kind of bridge that with their parents. If anyone's in immediate safety or someone else's safety is at risk because of a person, that's I'm a mandatory reporter, right? That goes to security, that goes to the care team at CSI. And usually athletes are really aware of that process. I try to tell them on the front end because I hate when people like, they come to me, they're like, I have to tell you something. And they'll start like talking and you know where it's going. You're like, oh, hold on. Like, I'm a mandatory reporter. Like, you need to know that like real fast. Let me flash you my credential. No. But yeah, it's hard. It's a hard balance. And I have to remind them too, like, I'm 29. Like, I've lived a lot of life, but
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Just turned
29, almost 30. Catching up to all y'all.
Except for me. I'm turning 30 in October.
Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm like excited.
Old.
Dude, I'm excited for 30. I'm like, we're going to all take like a best friend cruise. Like, it's going to be a good time.
It's a good excuse to celebrate hard.
I know.
Those decade ones.
Yeah. 29 was pretty good.
I mean, 30 is the first big decade when
really
you get to
is.
celebrate. Because, I mean, 20, you're too young.
You're
You
like,
can't drink, nothing.
Yeah, right.
30, you could gather all your friends and say,
we're going.
big.
Yeah.
40, people go big. 50, the big one.
My mom threw herself the biggest 50th freaking party. Like, she rented out like the entire building at the fairgrounds, hired a DJ, cater. Like, it was just extra. And I was like, Mom, you are so extra, but also so am I. So yeah, I'm excited.
Hell yeah. It's a great excuse to celebrate.
She's fun.
Celebrate life.
She's crazy, but fun. Yeah.
Wait, what were we saying before I interrupted the 29 thing?
Shoot. That like, I have to remind them that I'm young too and I don't have all the answers, and I'm not a parent, and I'm not here to be I'm here to be your coach. I'm not here to be mom. I'm not here to be dad. I'm not even here to be your big sister. Like, I'm not. So drawing that line is really hard sometimes because we are close in age. Like, some of these athletes are like 24 and I'm like 5 years younger than me.
But even so, with the whole age thing, I feel like, at least from my experience in life, I have this theory that I think we just never actually know.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think all we think as I get older, the more I just start to know that I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
It's so true. It's so true. Well, I look like back through my life, and like cheer's always been a really big, important part of it. But for years, like, I just coached on the side for fun. Honestly, like, my career goal was to be like a director of a nonprofit in like under 5 years from graduation. And I did. And I hated it. Like, I hated everything about like sitting in an office from 9 to 5. And I hated everything about like, and you have to attend this event so you can be seen by this person and this person. And I'm like, don't care.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd care more, but also like, didn't go to law school. Like, that was the original plan, right? Like, go to law school, get the degree, become a politician, change the world. And I'm like, that sounds exhausting. Can I just go to cheer practice? So yeah, like, you change. You like, my whole early 20s, like, that's what it was supposed to be. And I couldn't do it.
I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a neuroscientist. I was like, oh, the brain's so cool. I want to learn about that.
I can see that though.
But I like to learn about, I can just like learn about it hobby wise from actual neuroscientists.
Yeah.
One thing for sure, I found this assessment. It's like a career assessment. When I got out of the Marine Corps, you take this test and they go, oh, here's some good jobs for you. Mine was like 89% in arts. And everybody it was like saying like director, writer,
I
all
love
this
it.
stuff. And it's so funny because that was before I even thought about doing this.
Really?
Yeah, I went to
Trippy.
school. I got out of the Marine Corps and I went to CSI and I signed up for the business major.
Oh.
And I was a business major. And I was sitting there in macroeconomics going, FML.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I was hating it, but
Yeah.
now I probably just wasn't appreciating it. And I just have this creative urge,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Then I found out about digital media.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, you could make money doing like videos?
Right.
And then the journey started. And it's so funny. I started out with my mom's camera.
Aw.
My mom's little Nikon.
Okay.
And now look at
I
we're
look at
rolling
you
around
go.
with it.
Look at you go.
Yeah,
I love
so
it. It's
just-
funny how it works out like that.
Yeah, and it's so funny. One thing I've realized that I'm like, man, this is so cool. Like, you just think, like for things that are actually gonna play out. Like if you decide to stick with something, like say cheerleading, day 1 to maybe day 7, not a lot of improvement.
Right.
Day 1 to the end of year 1, some improvement.
Yeah.
To the end of that decade, like there's a major improvement. And now
crazy.
you look back and day 1 seems so far away.
So far.
And you're like, dang, like I've like one thing you can always count on is you're gonna grow.
Yeah.
As long as you stick with it,
Right.
you will get better.
For sure.
The rate of what you grow is up to you usually and your abilities maybe, but you will grow.
Yeah.
So for like video, you know, I went from, you know, I like just doing whatever I can, like begging people and making my own fun videos to, you know,
Right.
traveling to like all these countries,
it's
shooting
crazy.
documentaries and stuff to like, it's like, how did I get from there to here? It's
Yeah.
just like, I can't look a year back. It's not a good enough
Right.
lens. It's such a small progression of incremental, you know, progression.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I'm just like, if you do that with anything, like even with this podcast or anything, for instance, like right now, I have no expectations for this. And I'm not even putting a lot of effort into the marketing or anything.
For sure.
I just use it for really good clippable material, keep myself relevant, post things, and maybe even build my own brand by people get to know who I am a bit and
For
stuff.
sure.
But if I keep doing this for, you know, 5 years, 10 years, it's like maybe you know what I mean? Who knows?
Yeah.
It's like you will get better
For sure.
and it's just
That's
like everything in
true.
life. So then now I'm just starting to do a lot more things that I want to be good at.
Right.
And so it's just
Yeah.
it's just kind of for me boils down to creating. You know, I want to create. I
Yeah.
want to be the creator.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do this so I can just be a camera operator.
Right.
Because that's just like if I'm gonna just operate a system, might as well be an engineer or
Right.
something who
Yeah,
can operate
yeah.
a system.
Yeah, making bank just
and
like
make a ton of money. Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason I came into this is I want to be creative.
right.
And if I'm just, you know, shooting commercials all the time and, you know, not telling stories and things, it's not
Yeah.
fueling that. It's just
Yeah.
kind of settling with, oh, I'm willing to just point a camera and make money.
Right. Yeah, like the dance recital.
No,
No, I
a little
get it.
bit.
I mean, it's funny though, because you know, like I pointed out, like what was it, like a week or two ago? I'm like, God, you could really tell where our passions lie right now. Like,
Yeah. Well, it is tedious. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not a creative thing. If I would, a whole change would be if we wanted to shoot like a very creative dance music video kind of
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be really
like this
cool.
one I was showing some of the cheerleaders. I forgot who it was. No, some of the dancers. I was showing
Our
some of the
dancers?
dancers over at Nationals.
Oh.
Because we were talking
Oh,
about
yeah,
dance, and I showed them
yeah.
this video called "Find Your Water," and it's like this dance, this like interpretive, like abstract. What's the
okay.
term for dancing all
don't know.
abstract?
I don't know, dance
It's,
freestyle. I don't know.
Freestyle.
Freestyle?
That's like some b-boy shit. No, it's interpretive dance. Is that what it is?
Oh,
Where people
yeah.
kind of do their
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
That's
Okay.
like the same as abstract.
Yeah,
I guess,
sure.
for dance world terminology. Some
Coach Cheer.
dancer's gonna be like,
Oh my God.
freaking idiots.
Julie's gonna be rolling her eyes so hard right now.
But it's like that, and
yeah.
but it's in reverse. And this girl's
Oh.
like, they reverse the video, so everyone else is walking backwards, and she looks like she's going forwards.
Oh, that's
But it's
cool.
because they reversed it, you know.
Huh.
But the whole thing is like this speech about finding your water,
Uh-huh.
and it's about being like it's like relating life to being a penguin.
Yeah.
Like the penguin looks awkward, you know, walking
Yeah.
on ice,
Okay.
waddling around, looks vulnerable and like funny.
Yeah.
But then when you see that penguin jump into the water, it's free, it's flying,
Oh,
it's
that's
almost
true.
like flying. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
Yeah.
moving around, jumping, swimming left
Yeah.
and right, 3-dimensional space move, has better movement than most birds, you know, but it's underwater. And the whole gist of that was find your water. You know, we're all little penguins.
Oh.
You just have to find your water.
Love it. What'd they think of it?
They thought it was really cool. I was
Yeah.
like, dang, we should like make something like this.
Love that.
Like something super creative where it's like a
do
story.
something like that with Julie's dancers.
Yeah, and it's like I think I love the concept of like a voiceover with a theme, and then like the performance as like
Yeah.
not like the B-roll, but like the entertainment, like
Yeah.
the display of emotion. Where I wouldn't
Yeah.
want. I think, and with like something beautiful, like almost classical music, something you know how some vibes
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like a James Cameron film.
Okay.
You know how they have their music is so good. It's like Hans Zimmer.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that music changes the whole tone of the video.
That's so true.
Like if you watch Interstellar and they have different music on, different vibe.
That's true.
But Hans Zimmer makes that a masterpiece.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
So the music is very important. I feel like if you get masterpiece type of music, then you can, it will feel like that.
Yeah.
And then if we can tell the story with a voiceover.
So my cheerleaders can't dance, but you should call the dance team because that'd be great.
That would be cool.
That would be really cool.
Yeah. Right now, I'm obsessed with CSI Cheer, and I'm starting to do a project with the family boxing.
I saw that. Yeah.
Because she got a lot. She's about to
Really?
hopefully be able to make it to the Olympics in 2024. So
exciting.
that's all this year we'll
Dang.
determine. So we're gonna find out.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and they were the first like film the family boxing people. That was the first time award-winning documentary, because I hadn't made documentaries before.
I watched it.
You did watch it?
I did watch it.
I just, for me now, I look back, it's like, I don't know how it is. If you look back at old routines and go,
I'm like, why did I do that?
Yeah, I could have done something cooler.
So boring. Yeah.
So that's why I'm like moving forward. I that's probably a great reason for growing, like that mindset to grow though. Cause like, if you always look back and think about what you could have done better, your next work is going to be better.
Yeah. That's why we always have like 7, 8 versions of our routine before I actually give them the routine. Cause I'm like, no, I thought of something better. No, I thought of this, or, oh, what about this person here? It's fun. And that's like the creative side of it for me, right? So many coaches hire choreographers and music producers and editors, and I get to do all that myself because one, who knows my team better than me? Like I know what they're going to be capable of. I might as well do it. And two, like it's so fun to take a group of 30 and figure out how they can move and transition and throw skills here and put your mind into like a judge's view. Because harder isn't always best, right? Like what's clean, what visually looks good. Sometimes, especially basketball bash before the pyramid fell, that was like a simple little element that was like, oh, the crowd's really going to enjoy this. And that's what I love about like our halftimes and performances. They don't have to be so like A and B lead to C. Like it's visual, it's fun, it's moving. And just to piece all that together, like so fun, so creative. Tomorrow I'm actually doing Filer High School's choreography.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I love being able to like work with different teams and see their strengths and put those things together.
You're going with the rival. I'm from Buell.
Okay. Well, I'm also doing Buell's in August, if that makes you feel better.
Okay, all right, good. You just keep it fair.
Right. I am. Yeah. I love Buell. I actually worked with Buell last year too, and they were really good. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. We've got like two girls from Buell on the team this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Kendallin, the little blonde flyer that you said looks like a 12-year-old.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, Kendallin.
Sorry, but you do.
She's from Buell? Hell
yeah. And then Lorinda, the one in the episode that was talking about like she wants to make her mom proud.
Oh, she's from Buell?
Yeah, she's from Buell too.
Oh my gosh, that is funny. Awesome. I'm going to have to get to know them better.
Yep. Keeping the legacy rolling.
One thing I realized, I had this like revelation.
Oh no.
When I was at nationals with you guys and just seeing all these cheerleaders and dancers like.
Are you trying out for the team?
No. But I feel like just to talk about choreography made me think of this. I feel like what makes a performance beautiful is it for me. It's like a symbolic, like a representation of like. Just like human harmony, where it's like everybody's working together. Yeah, it's like the same magic. I feel like when you go to church, everyone's singing together. Yeah, it's like you get this like feeling,
that beautiful like good for the soul feeling.
When people are like doing things together, like a group of humans come together and perform together in unison. There's like this vibe. Yeah, and it's like that human harmony vibe. It
is, and I think confidence has a lot to do with that, right? If you watch day 1 of show and compare it to day 2. It's a whole different vibe. Day 1, we only had 2 points in deductions, and it was just Mallory busting on her layout, which wasn't the end of the world at the time. It was a good routine. They hit all the stunts. They hit all the pyramids. It just didn't feel entertaining. It wasn't like that good for the soul feeling. And the judges caught that because even though our routine was more difficult skill-wise, we were not in first place by a whole lot after day 1. I was actually nervous. Oh. Yeah, I was looking at the score sheets and doing the calculations, and I was kind of like, Jake, we need to pull it out tomorrow. Like, I don't know why. Difficulty should play a really big part, but overall appearance, the second place team was not very far behind us. So day 2, I kind of told the team, you proved yourselves you can hit this routine. Here you are. What are you going to do extra, right? Like what's going to make the judges buy into the fact that you know what you're doing and that you actually are having fun? Like this is supposed to be fun. We are going to have fun, damn it. Like show me you're having fun. And when you watch both of those videos just immediately back to back, it looks like an entirely different routine. It looks like an entirely different team because they're sassy, they're waving, they're doing fun hair flips, they're smiling. Like they just look confident out there.
They put out energy.
Yeah. And like you could feel it. And that's what the judges felt that second day, right? Like that is why they came out with a win. It's crazy. It's crazy how that feels.
I feel like with the facial expressions and stuff, it's almost like a display of mastery.
Yeah.
Because it's like when people don't have that, it's like you can see they're like thinking.
Yeah. They're going through the motions. Like
they're
what's
thinking,
next?
What do I have to do next? What do
I need to do?
And then someone who's like just smiling and
having fun.
cheering and stuff. It looks like they're not even thinking.
No.
Like they're just moving. Like
Yeah.
they don't even have, they're mastered it.
For sure.
They got their routine down.
Yeah, we need to do that sooner this year. But yeah. Yeah, no, it was good. And honestly, like every time I watch the finale to our series and how we slowed down and we showed the routine and of course like there's clips of me going crazy. I remember that feeling and I remember that moment. And it's just like so much pride watching them just kill it and have confidence. And it was the same with stunt group, right? Day 1, you hit, look good. But even the judges were like, can you like do something with your body language and your face? And I was like, you guys got to turn it up. Like have some fun out there tomorrow. And they did well. And there they were. It's crazy how cheer works.
So I just was wondering, when you do choreography, when you get into it, just like, how do you find your starting point? So for me, I feel like I could relate to this because for me, it's like, I feel like starting to create choreography is like, how do I, it's almost in a sense, like, how do I tell this story?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How do I start this journey?
Yeah.
What's the climax?
Right.
And how do we finish this off? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very similar.
Really similar.
Yeah,
now that you're saying it like that. Yeah.
So for me, I start off with pieces of the story and I say, how do I give the audience the information they need to know so we know what story we're about to embark on?
Yeah.
And then I usually will find a cool piece of music to like add rhythm. Okay. And then I will mold the story that I've already formed to the rhythm. How do you approach telling your story?
It depends on the team, really. So I start with their strengths, which would be like the clips, right? Okay, this team is smaller. So you're going to want them in more pyramid type aspects. You're not going to want to draw attention to the fact that they have 2 stunt groups. You want to make it seem bigger. So I'm going to throw in an extra pyramid here or there. Cheer, it's different because it's creative, but you do have a score sheet, right? Like you have to have a pyramid, you have to have a tumbling section, you have to have a jump section.
Like a rubric.
Yeah, homework. A little bit. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, you'd hope people would follow that. So you find their strengths and then you just build from there. A lot of times I build from the middle out, which I think drives so many people crazy. But I'm like, what's the core? Like, what's the height, right? What's the height of the routine? It's probably going to be a pyramid or a really cool stunt section. So I'm going to start there and then I'm going to go backwards and we're going to build our way to the beginning. And then I'm going to realize what's missing. Okay, so now you hit this climax of your routine. How do you keep the energy up from there? So I think in cheerleading, it's different, right? Like you hit a climax and most people kind of come down from that. You hit your climax in cheer, you need to keep your judges engaged. Like, oh, that was really cool. Oh, now it's going to be boring. No, shoot, that was really cool too. Or like, oh my God, they keep just killing it. And I always tell my kids, the last 30 to 45 seconds of your routine will drain the living shit out of you. Like you will be exhausted because I'm going to throw all the crazy visuals in right there at the end. Like I'm going to let you build up to that. But once you're at that peak, you have to stay on that peak till the end. Like there is no way to come down. But at the same time, you don't want your peak to be at the end because you just bored your judges for 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And now the last 10 seconds are cool. Like you want to hit your peak at 1:30 and just haul ass to the end with all the crazy visuals.
You want to leave them wanting more rather than leave them feeling comfortable. Okay.
And that's why like all the really cool stunt sections and pyramids in my routines generally happen towards the end. But that's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to train for.
Yeah, that's cool. Actually, I want to do something.
Oh no.
Because this is my first time seeing it.
What?
I'm gonna get on this camera and show off that.
Oh my
badass
gosh! Yes.
All right, let me
I know.
Hold that thing up. Hold that thing up.
Look at this. Look how pretty this is. I love it.
Tell me about this. What you got on right there?
This is our national champion ring with our little logo. And then it has like our names and it says like history made on it. And they just got in on Wednesday. They just came in Wednesday. So I went and got mine. And I'm like, I'm going to be that obnoxious, pretentious person and wear it for a week. And then I'll put it somewhere safe. Yeah. But I'm the only one that has one so far.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That thing's
Pretty.
nice.
Yeah.
Can I see it?
Yes.
Can I hold it?
Of course you can hold it. Don't break it.
Ooh, it's got weight to it. Oh, this feels like a champion ass ring.
So it's really funny. I sized it for my ring finger because I was going through a breakup and was like, I'll get my own ring this year.
Oh my gosh.
And I did. And then it has like College of Southern Idaho like engraved in the bottom of it. I was like, yes.
Dude, this is one badass ring.
No, I love it.
That is so cool.
I want 4 more so they match. Just one full hand.
Just fill up all the hands.
Yeah, it
Just
sucks
ringed
because
out.
I haven't like seen anyone, so nobody has their rings but me, and so I'm like posting about it and showing everyone, and all the veterans are like,
"What the fuck?
So where's my ring?" Jake mows my lawn, and I'm just like, "I'll leave it in the back for you. Come get your ring."
So do you have the rings?
I have everyone's rings.
So when are you gonna give it to them?
I left Sienna's at her house, so she'll come back into town tomorrow and get hers. And then I'll see a lot of the veterans that returned on Sunday tumbling. So I said, it'd be a really good opportunity for you guys to come to tumbling Sunday. I might have something for you. Ooh. And then I'll go ahead and mail like Kyla, Mallory's, Danny's. Oh my gosh, I know.
I'm just thinking about being a veteran and walking around all the new recruits with your ring on, like coming up to tumbling, like, you know, going to practice, like, hey, you want to be like me?
Yeah. And I think it's a good reminder for them too, right? Like we worked our asses off for this freaking ring. Like you have to work that much harder for a second one. I don't know. It's hard. You know, like last year I spoke it every single day. Like this is my nationals team. Like we're going to win. I got this.
Even when I was doubting.
I know.
You were
doubting?
I would doubt a little bit.
When were you doubting?
I would be like, oh my God, you lost another one? Oh my God, you lost another one?
I said, yeah, so what?
And then, you were always like, doesn't matter.
No.
Yeah. And you made it happen.
Yeah.
You guys made it happen.
We did.
It was
it was such a fight. Like every day it was just a freaking fight. But I never like lost faith that we were going to do it. Like I would have loved for everyone to have made it to the end of the season. And I just like, I want to say that because I do mean it from the bottom of my heart. Like whatever people feel like happened on their way out of the program, like I believed in every single person that walked into that gym last year. And I thought that they were all deserving of a national win. Being a college athlete is really hard. There's a reason that only 1% of high school athletes make it to college. It's hard. It's hard. It's mentally draining. It sucks every time, every second that you have free. You're here with me, right? In cheer practice doing things. And it sucks that we lost so many people. But the right people were on the floor to win this ring. And that's hard to say. And I know that that's going to be a really hard truth for some people to swallow. Even veterans who were like best friends with people who left this team. But the right people are always the ones that end up on the floor, no matter what you do. This year, I think we're on a better track. We haven't really had anyone quit. And last year, we had a lot of changeover. Like you watch the tryout episode, most of those people made it. And then you're just like, wait, I never saw those people again because I was constantly like, hey, I'm not going to join. And then I'm like, well, shoot, I got to find your replacement. And it was just this turnover over turnover and like cycling people through to try to make a roster. And this year, everyone's like paid for camp and everybody's been pretty engaged. There's a few people that I'm like, you need to turn in your paperwork or you're going to get kicked off this team real fast. But for the most part, I feel really good about this core. And I feel like a lot of that has to do from the docuseries. People know what to expect now. Like, I just think back to episode 4, the one right before nationals.
Fight night?
Yeah, fight night.
I love that one.
Yeah, me too. And it shows how raw the low part of the season is because January it's a low. Like you're working hard and you have no free time. You're doing 2-a-days with me. You, unlike all of your other friends at college, you don't get a month at home with your loved ones. You get a week. And then the rest of the break, you're working your ass off with me. And it's hard to watch them make those sacrifices, but you have to do it. You know, you follow any other team and they'll say the same thing. Like, enjoy your 7 days at home. See you soon. People aren't ready for that. And if the sacrifice isn't worth it for you, then I would rather you leave. And it's hard because, like I said, I want them all to be successful. I cared about every single one of them. If any single one of them were in trouble and needed to call, like, you have my number still probably. If not, find me.
Not hard to find.
Yeah, right. In this day and age, right? Yeah, it makes dating a lot easier and more convenient for sure. And I'm like, on iCourt portal, it says you actually are divorced twice and went to small claims court. And yeah, I'm probably like the worst person to date because I already like know everything about you before the first date. Funny. And I'm like, so tell me about that time that your father-in-law took you to court in 2018.
Hey, public knowledge.
It is. It's out there. You did it. It's out there.
That fight night episode, I just remember the aura of it is like the beginning feels like sad. Like
we were sad.
The lower colors. Like people look a little like paler because it's like midwinter, the winter.
It's January. There's no
January.
sun.
Yeah. Everyone's been inside.
Yeah. No tan.
Everyone just feels, I just remember Fatima in particular felt so low energy.
No, that was so sad.
That beginning, that practice I got where we like kind of go into the interviews talking about the mood.
Yeah.
Everybody just felt very low energy. And I just remember I never seen Fatima like that, being all like just not like a, being all sunny or something.
Yeah. She is kind of like the sunshine, right? Like she's the ray of light that's like everyone just like believe in each other. Like, let's get this done. And to watch even her like take the hit and take the low, like as a coach, oh, that'll tear you up. Like that. January was not a good month for me as a coach either. And I had to check myself every practice. Like, I think people look at coaches and go, oh, like they have it together. They have a plan. They know what they're doing. Absolutely not. I have a plan. That doesn't mean I follow it. And it doesn't mean that I'm not also subjectable to those things. When I lost so many people, there was probably a solid week in January. It was the week I lost Trista, Liv, and Rachel in the same week. And I had a conversation with Julie and was kind of like, I'm going to be really vulnerable right now. And I'm going to tell you, I feel like a really shitty coach. I don't know why this isn't working. I've always coached this way. I'm not sure why people are dropping off. And then have like one or two of them come back to like my inner circle and say like, yeah, like you were destroying my mental health. And I was like, oh, okay. Like that I take really personally, right? Like my job as a coach is to like produce a program that is going to be around for a really long time. And you do that by skill building and being impressive in a way. But two, like I want to build good people, right? I want you to take care of your mental health. I want you to take care of your physical health. And I want you to love cheerleading, right? Like I spent 18 years of my life, like going through the motions. I guess I like cheerleading. I really like the athleticism part of it. I don't really like the culture and blah, blah, blah. Like I didn't want people to feel like that for any period of time. So to hear some of those things, like I'll own what's mine to own. I'm a hard ass. And I try now to communicate better, like why I'm doing what I'm doing. Last year was really hard for me because I was coming off not winning and I like winning. And I was coming off of like begging people to be on this team and be a part of this program to like more people want to be here. Yay, that's exciting. And then it is like, oh, I need to keep these people. Like I have to do everything I can to keep these people. And halfway through the season, Jake and I put out an anonymous survey and said, give us some feedback. Like the vibe feels like shit at practice. Like nobody, including us, want to be here right now. Like, what are you feeling out there? And some of the feedback was really valid. And some of it was like, we just need to communicate better, right? Like if I'm yelling at you and asking you to do 10 reps in a row, I'm giving you an opportunity to become mentally stronger, not just physically stronger. Like I need you to prove to yourself that you can do this. I'm giving you an opportunity to do that, which is why I'm not batting an eye. And every time you fall, I say, set back up. Like that's an intimidating process. And that always happens a few times in the season. Like a stunt will fall and I'll just be like, step back up. It'll fall again, step back up. And that'll go on sometimes for 5 to 10 minutes of just fall, get up, fall, get up. And sure, there are things in the stunt where I'm like, yeah, your grip kind of looks weird here. Or like, oh, you're really not pulling through your shoulders here. Like there are technical things. But if they're like a one-off where I'm just like, that's not really like Kenzie to base like that, I'm not going to cause doubt in her mind and say, hey, Kenzie, like you're not pulling through your shoulder and holding in your core in this stunt, because now she's going to overthink that when she's never even made that mistake before. I'm going to give her an opportunity to fix it and just like completely release her mind from it. Like step back up, go again, step back up. And I think the kids get really frustrated in those moments. And so I always have to let them feel the feels for a little bit. Like, you're mad at me. I get it. Be mad at me. That's fine. But when you finally hit this and prove it to yourself, that's the best feeling you're going to feel as you walk away and go get a drink break. And so I think a lot of times at the beginning of the season, I coached with my heart more than my head. And that's very unlike me. And a lot of the girls called me out on it. Like the ones that really wanted to win were like, stop coaching with your heart. Like we need you to coach with your head right now. And that's when I made that shift. And that's when a lot of people were like, I can't keep up with this team.
I mean, I feel like you're trying to create champions. That's the goal.
Yeah.
We want to be champions.
Yeah.
We don't want to be a happy, daily happy team. And I feel like the blueprint for creating a champion is different than the blueprint for the casual who's enjoying their day to day. Right. You have to do, like Mike Tyson says, you have to do what you hate like you love it. You have to show up. You know what I mean? Like the discipline. I mean, I was working with Chris Bumstead and he just won his 4th Mr. Olympia. He's obviously championing it. And he's obsessed with Michael Jordan. He has Michael Jordan books, Michael Jordan posters.
I love that.
And everything about Michael Jordan, it's like he took things, he was overly competitive. He would outdo people at practice, stay longer at practice. Like if you want to be a champion, like you gotta, like that's the problem. It's like these girls are in such this weird era. Yeah. Because as you get older, you start to understand these things. You understand, oh, there's a difference between the person who made it as a champion and the people who didn't make it as champions.
For sure.
You realize it's that pushing through the suck. Yeah. Because you could say, what's the point? My mental health hurts. But it's like, oh, I want to build resiliency in you. Right. But what's the point of that? I just want to cheerlead. Yeah. Well, the resiliency is to make you want to be here when you don't want to be here and putting in the work when you don't even want to be putting in the work. If you can do that, that will lead you to the blueprint of a champion. Like that's how you become. That's how you become it. So it's so hard because these kids are usually like, you know, in that weird era where they haven't quite understood that. They're still kind of wanting just to be comfortable. Yeah. Because I look back at like my wrestling days and I'm like, what a, like I'm so much more mentally strong now. And even if I'm like on the treadmill running and I start to feel tired and exhausted, I say, oh, you tell yourself you would have been better if you could put this mind in old Jason. But look at you here wanting to quit right now. Right. You know what I mean? It's so true. And so then I'm like, let me prove it to myself that I could have been a champion with the mind I have now. I have the champion mind now, even though I didn't back then. And so I'll push my workouts harder. But it's like you like start to learn that you do as you get older. But when you're young, you kind of care a lot about your comfort, going home, like the practices suck.
6 a.m. is so hard. I'm so tired. Well, so am I.
And then there's those kids that stand out that they just don't care. Right. Like they'll like a Sienna. You know what I mean? They just they're putting in the work because they've already have matured. Like Sienna is pretty mature for her age. For sure. Like she gives off the, you know, not very childish. Yeah. Kid. I mean, she's a dork. She's a dork. She's a dork. But yeah, she's still her age, obviously. But she has figured a few things out in life, like working hard, and being disciplined. Yeah, and I love like Sienna's backstory. Like, unfortunately, she was told her entire cheer career. So Sienna has cheered for about 14 years, so about what I did too. Her entire career, like and this is so crazy because you look at Sienna and you're like, that is one athletic mother, you know? Yeah. She was told like, you're too big to fly. Like you can't fly or you can't do it. Or like, you're never going to go anywhere and cheer. And that created who she is. Right. And it sucks. And like, yeah, you hope that adults would be adults and be more encouraging and recognize that balance. But that gave her like something to prove. And she's retiring a champion. And it's funny how like, some of us will take our life experiences and carry them with us in a positive way. And some of us will let them like destroy us. And I'm a big advocate for like, ask for the help if you're like struggling with your mental health. Like I struggle with chronic depression. Like most people wouldn't know that, right? Like I struggle hard. Like there are weeks where I like hit a low and I am like calling the crisis center because I'm feeling suicidal. And it's like, how do I combat that? Right? Like, how do I make myself mentally strong enough to be like, I want to be here on this world. I got really great things to give and I
want to enjoy my life. And this is just like a really sad, dark moment. And asking for that help is really important. And I just feel like when people come to college and they enter this new world, they're navigating who they are, what they want to do. Now throw trying to become a champion on top of that. You're having practice once or twice a day. We're meeting on Sundays and Saturdays, and we're at basketball games. And I tell people, like, I respect all the sports in our athletics department. We're really blessed with great staff members and great administration who get it. Cheer's hard, man. Like basketball, volleyball, but like it's all hard in its own way, right? Cheer is so unique in the fact that like we're trying to build ourselves up as athletes while still supporting other athletic programs as well. Like I hate it. I hate when we don't get out of a game until 11 o'clock at night and I can't tell the kids that they can just sleep in tomorrow because we've got freaking work to do. And I'm like, you know what? I can give you 30 minutes. That's all I can give you. I'll see you at 6:30 a.m., you know, and I remember the Saturdays during Nationals month where we'd get up at 6 a.m. and we'd practice on a Saturday at 6 a.m. because that's the only time we had the gym during basketball tournament time. And then we would cheer men's game or women's game, then men's game. And I'd let the kids go home, eat dinner, take a shower. And then they were back at 8 p.m. to work on our nationals routine. Like that's a full ass day. And it sucks because I want to tell them you can take a break. But what we do and what we add to games, like it is important. And I completely believe in that. And I love cheering on our athletic programs and the coaches are great and supportive. And honestly, it's just fun. Like CSI basketball, the best. Like I'm so blessed to be able to sit courtside and watch those teams do what they do every weekend. But it's exhausting.
Yeah. The thing is like no downplay to any of those other sports.
Right.
I mean, we're all busting our ass, you know, like the cheerleaders, the basketball players, everyone's busting their ass for their craft.
Right.
But the thing that frustrates me so much, having gone the whole season with you guys, seeing the amount of work you do beyond, like you do practice and then, you go to the games and then you go do more practice. Then you have Sundays, you're stunting and all these, because your schedule is packed. And you're packed. It's like you have like an extra, it's like an extra part-time job added onto the original job that's your sport that you're trying to compete in.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And the thing that's so frustrating because, like, again, no downplay to the other sports, but cheerleaders do not get respected the way the other sports get respected. Yeah. They don't get looked at as like these athletes who are playing a sport. Yeah. They get looked at often by people as support characters for the real sport.
And
or
that's
something.
all they should do. Yeah.
And it's like, they don't, a lot of people are so ignorant to the work that goes in and the little technique and skill. Like,
so much.
Let's see you do these things. Like, holy crap. It's like, it's insane. Go grab the basketball boys and come make them do this. Like, it's going to be funny.
It is.
They're not going to be able to do it.
I was telling coach, I'm like, can we do like a cheerleader stunt for a day with your boys? Like, how fun would that be?
Oh, that'd be sick.
But I will say, like, you're right. Respect takes so much time to earn and get, and it's incredibly painful of a process because I just want to be like, do you even just like look at our schedule and not go, oh my God, like they're athletes and they care about what they're doing. Nationals, 100% fundraised from us. Like we want to go, we find the money to do so. And that's not necessarily the case with other sports. And I think we're getting there, right? I think this year proves just how supportive like CSI is willing to be with us, right? Like I'm the only cheer coach in the entire history that's been offered like an actual coaching contract. Like I love that they see and believe in the program that I'm building enough to be like, yeah, we want you here more. So that's really positive. And I'll tell you what, like Coach Reinhardt and his staff on the men's basketball team, like I'm blown away and it does make me a little emotional. Unfortunately, I hate emotions, but it makes me emotional to think about how great that staff is. And unfortunately, two of them just took really fancy, great jobs elsewhere. So they're going to be missed so much. But to have a men's basketball coach in the middle of your team's lineup come to the cheerleaders and thank them for being there today, like unheard of almost. And to have that support. And I'll tell you what, every single one of those basketball coaches contributed financially to like our cause. And whether that was just like attending fundraisers or like donating here or there or like sharing social media posts about our fundraisers, like they contributed that way. And I'll never find anything like that. I mean, the night of the showcase, oh my gosh, like emotions were already high that night, but to see every single men and women's basketball player in the audience and their coaches, like there to support my cheerleaders, it was mind blowing because we are there to support them and we love it. You know, this is not to say like, oh, I wish we didn't have to do that because it's such an important piece of it. But it's hard
to see the support reciprocated back. But it seems like things are the coaching at least is I know that it's just been frustrating because you guys won nationals. It was a big moment of history for you guys, and you got a trophy sitting in your office. I wish that we could let other people see it.
You want to know where it's at right now?
Where is it?
It's in my living room.
What?
It's decor for my living room now.
And it's like that's where moments I'm like, I wish that we could show a little bit more.
Yeah.
But and it's just overall. I mean, some people are great. Some people
you're gonna have it
so much.
Yeah. Small progress.
What do you see as the next progress step for this year? Program.
Obviously, we want to win again because I need another ring already. No, I think our next step is to just build confidence back in the program and the community. We're doing the right things to do that. I want CSI to be a place that athletes train and want to come to. You know, I don't want it to be like, I didn't make Boise State or Idaho State, so I guess I'll come here. Like, I don't want to be that program. I'm happy to take y'all, love y'all. You work hard. You got a spot on my team. But it would just be nice for people to be like, CSI is the place I want to be. And we have a few people like this coming year. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm so excited. So we hosted a combine with the other college coaches. I had to work, so I didn't go, but Julie went in my place. And there were girls that were like, I came to this combine just for CSI. And that felt so good to be like, we're making a name, and it's a positive name. Like, it's a family that people want to be a part of. And that's really big for me. So I want to be able to continue to recruit. I want to elevate our skill level. I know, yes, we're national champs and that's great, but there's so many better teams out there that I want to start competing with. So starting next year, here's like a little hot take that nobody knows about yet, but Sienna, we are going to start requiring tumbling for the first time in like a decade for this program.
Oh yeah? Setting up the filter, huh?
I am.
You got to narrow down the participants, the recruits.
And it's
awesome.
It's hard, but like we are there. Like we're at that point, like we can do those kinds of things. So that's really encouraging. And I really want to just cultivate our local talent, like Filer, Buell, like all these other teams that I get to work with. Like, I want to create that pipeline, like start young, get ready, come to CSI, like don't count us out. We're not just a junior college program. Like, we are reigning national champions and we train just as hard as everybody else every single day. And we're here for it. Like, that's what I want to do. Like, I'm glad that I just got approved that I get to just like work and cheer all day, every day this next year. Like, balancing cheer on top of a full-time 9 to 5, extremely difficult. So excited to do more hands-on stuff with the kids. Like, hey, you're not in class. Where you at? Because I'm in your class. Like, I want to be able to hold them more accountable and set them up for better success. Last year was hard. Like, yeah, I can check grades. Yeah, I can have some conversations, but there's nothing quite like, oh, coach now works on campus. Who knows where she's going to be? I better be doing what I need to be doing. And just to be an advocate, right? Like, hey, you need to see the CSI counseling department. Let me walk you there. Like, to be able to do those kinds of things is really valuable. So I'm really optimistic about this next year. We've got a lot of work to do, but I'm feeling like I'm starting to get on track to do the work. And that's something that I haven't felt for probably a month now. So I'm excited.
Building your cheer empire.
Building the empire.
You've done a lot for this program.
I've tried.
You've grown it a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to be on this journey with you because I feel as much passion with you because the like the recruits coming are going to benefit the team. Yeah. Because you're going to have heighten your standards and have a bigger pool to choose from.
Yeah.
And in turn, for me as a documentary filmmaker, being able to show your guys' stories and aim to get more eyes, more recruit eyes, and it's more eyes on my work, right? More eyes on who your story, what you are in your story, and it's just overall more authentic. Yeah, we don't have to make like let's make a cheer ad where I can have you stand in front of the squad and you say come to CSI Cheer, or you can just show because this is a big commitment. This isn't like a 30-second ad kind of commitment. This is like a look what you're in store for. Yeah. Look at the story. Like this is work. This is passion. This is championship mind.
Yeah.
So
I think it's funny because everyone that I talk to, I'm like, what's like your favorite, like obviously besides the Nationals episode, because that's just like a whole high on its own. And they're like, that moment you cry in episode 4, like that's my favorite moment because like it's so real. And I was like, yeah, I hate crying, but like you're right, it was real. And I love that like you want to be on this journey because so many people just don't understand cheer and don't care to understand cheer. And I love that like you've taken the time to like 1, learn about it. 2, you listen to me bitch all the time. So that's really helpful for me. But like 3, like you are telling such a good, strong story. Like there are things that you include in episodes that I'm just like, oh, that does make a really good story. Like I didn't even think about that. Like, so to see it from like your perspective is crazy. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a great outlet for me to express my artsiness. And it's just like so fun to be like lurking. It's like my National Geographic, you know.
Oh my gosh,
I lurk in the grass.
I love it.
Figure out what these
Creepy,
stories
but
are.
I love it.
Here you'll find the CSI cheerleader in our natural habitat.
Oh God. Here's Coach Ray. She's gonna yell a lot. Just like plug your.
Yeah. You got
plug your
good
ears.
jokes though too.
Thanks. I don't try to be funny because then I'm not funny. I think I'm just mean and people think I'm funny. Probably.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, you're coming in, they're like, that was a good one. You're like, no, I'm dead serious.
Like, no, fucking run. Like, what are you doing?
Bear crawls. There was like, good one. That's a good one. Right?
They're not ready. They're so not ready. Ugh, there's so much work to do. I will say last year's team had more natural talent, but this year's team has more coachability, I want to say. And they've got 6 veterans that know what it takes to get there. So hopefully, all my fingers crossed. I'm hoping that the veterans can really step into that power and be like, I did it. It's going to take nothing less to do it again. And I'm willing to put in that work. Right now, we're mixed, right? Some of the veterans are like that. And they're like, I'm going to take you under my wing and we're going to work our asses off for this. And then some of the veterans are like, well, we went through all that shit last year and still won. So like, how hard can winning be? And I'm like, oh,
complacency.
Yes, you are in for a surprise.
Do not get complacent.
No. And I'll be honest, like there are times where I find it hard to be like, check your ego, Reylene. Check your ego. Like you got work to do. So yeah.
Yeah. So episode 1 of season 2, tryouts. Catch it. It's way better than last year's. Do you agree?
I would 100% agree.
Like not the girls, but the storytelling technique on my behalf.
Yes.
I'm really trying to elevate my game so that the films are more enjoyable to watch.
Yes.
So this one's about it's under 6 minutes. And you're going to be able to catch it on YouTube and Facebook this year. We didn't have last year's on Facebook, but we're going to start. I was thinking about uploading the old season. But then I'm like, damn, we're getting so close to this new season. I don't want to confuse people.
Yeah.
And we got it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Those views happen.
Yes.
This year, I'm going to try to market it a little more.
Yeah.
With I'm going to create a little trailer a little bit.
Okay.
Then we'll have a little sneak peek teaser that we can do. And then we can have a little snip of you saying, hey, check out season 2, episode 1 of Cheer.
There we go.
CSI Cheer.
There we go.
And the tryouts episode on Friday. Something like that.
I love it.
So
Done.
Give me that clip. Come on, give me that clip.
Oh my gosh. Hold on, I gotta like get in my element.
You gotta get method acting ready.
I'm so bad. I'm definitely like a docuseries kind of person because I'm like just capture the natural. Like stage is just not great for me.
Yeah, but you're a debate person.
Yeah, it's not staged.
Yeah, but I mean, you're just good on. You're good on the mic.
Okay, wait. What do you want from me?
I'm not sure exactly. Honestly, I think I got a lot of clippable stuff out of this, but I'm gonna
really
do the
good for
marketing
you.
thing. Yeah. So we're gonna be able to, I'm gonna snag all the most embarrassing things you said on this one.
Perfect. Just like make that like a 2-minute reel. I love it.
Yeah, but next time we do I get the next episode, right?
Yeah.
You want to do this again?
I'm down.
It'll be really
love
fun.
it.
I'm gonna throw this into my little AI editor. I should have it out like tonight.
Nice.
So it'll be really fun.
We're doing camp, right? Episode 2?
Yeah, let's do camp in August, right?
Yeah.
Same August?
Yeah. We're doing a camp in July too, but you don't want to see that.
You don't want to see that? Why?
Because it's just, I think it's going to be more like expectation building.
Okay.
And because last year's team was more naturally talented, we kind of skipped what I would call this camp, to be honest. Like that August camp you captured last year is going to be like similar to the August camp. We're just rewinding, and this is just going to be like a fundamental basics Cheer 101 camp.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll be
We
boring.
gotta get the more exciting stuff.
Yeah. It'll be really boring for you.
Give the people what they want.
Give the people what they want. Another ring.
Yeah. Another
We'll get
ring
there,
this
for
year. Let's
sure.
get it.
Okay, I'm
All
down.
right. Go Trey. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right. See y'all.
See ya.